So today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's actually a piece that I originally created for TikTok, but it sparked such a great discussion there that I wanted to share it here as well. I do want to mention that because it was filmed for TikTok, it's in vertical format, and I apologize for that. I considered recording it over again, but to be honest, that would feel disingenuous. And I think the message is important enough to share regardless of how it was filmed initially. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to update you on my poetry book, Limitless, Poetry of an Aromantic and Asexual Journey. Pre-orders are still open, and I'm so excited about the upcoming release. So, for the next week, I've already talked about this in some of my shorts, I'm building an ARC team, an advanced reader copy team. If you review books on social media, on blogs, or on platforms like Goodreads, I'd love for you to apply to be a part of this team. Applications will close on January 11th, and emails will go out to the chosen individuals on January 12th. If selected, I'll ask for your preferred complimentary version of the book, either a PDF or an ebook or both. And don't forget to pre-order if you're looking for a way to support my book, my channel, and the rest of the work that I do. The book is out on February 18th, and pre-order links are in the description along with the application to join the ARC team. Now, back to today's video. It's about a scene in Heartstopper right towards the beginning of Season 2, where Isaac comes out as asexual and thinks he might also be aromantic. And Charlie's reaction sparked some debate in the comments of one of my videos. So in this TikTok, I explore why Charlie might not immediately know what aromantic means, diving into the nuances of education, advocacy, and even linguistics. As you watch, I'd love for you to share your thoughts on how we can promote better understanding of aromantic and asexual identities, as well as the importance of education and advocacy. If you enjoy the video, please don't forget to like it, share it with others, and comment your thoughts below. And of course, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't ever miss an update on the book or any other videos. Thanks as always for being here, and let's dive in. So there's a super interesting discussion going on in my comments section of the video that's tagged here right now. There's some back and forth going on about a scene in Heartstopper where Isaac comes out to Charlie as asexual and also thinks he might be aromantic. Charlie knows what asexual means, but admits he doesn't know what aromantic means, and this has sparked some interesting conversation. One argument I've seen is that Charlie should know what aromantic means since he knows what asexuality means. The logic being the prefix a means without, and Charlie could have connected the dots. Now, technically, I'm on winter break right now, but the educator side of my brain cannot resist a teachable moment, especially since I'm an English language arts teacher. So the prefix discussion really sparks that urge to jump in. While I understand where this argument is coming from, I actually think it's a lot more complicated than that. And I want to dive into why Charlie's reaction makes perfect sense in this context, and why education and advocacy for the aromantic and asexual spectrums are so important, and this scene really illustrates that. First, let's start with the idea that Charlie might not have thought of romantic attraction as separate from sexual attraction. For many people, romantic and sexual attraction often run parallel. They happen together or are perceived as the same thing. This is what makes the concept of the split attraction model so important. The split attraction model helps us understand that romantic attraction and sexual attraction are distinct from each other. And you can experience one without the other, or neither at all. Or they could go in different directions while still experiencing them, but towards different sects or groups of people. But at this point in the story, Charlie hasn't been exposed to that framework yet. For Charlie, like many other people, attraction might just feel like one thing. This lack of understanding about the nuances of attraction is just one reason why he doesn't immediately understand what aromantic means. It's not about him being ignorant or not making the connection. It's simply that he hasn't learned to think of attraction as having these separate layers. Now, here's my English language arts teacher side. let's talk about the prefix a. Yes, a can mean without, and in both asexuality and aromanticism, it does carry that general meaning. But it's not as straightforward as just knowing the prefix. To illustrate, let's look at some other words that begin with a but don't mean not or without. Words like atop, aloud, afloat, and afire all start with the prefix a, but in those cases, the prefix indicates position, state, or manner rather than negation. Atop means on top of something, not the absence of top. Afloat means floating, not without floating. So while the prefix a can sometimes mean without, it has other meanings. It's entirely reasonable that Charlie wouldn't immediately associate aromanticism with the idea of being without romantic attraction based on the prefix alone, because a happens to carry multiple meanings. But there's an even bigger issue here. Both asexuality and aromanticism exist on spectrums. Asexuality is typically defined as experiencing little to no sexual attraction, and aromanticism as experiencing little to no romantic attraction. That means there are people on these spectrums who do experience certain forms of attraction under certain circumstances. Viewing these terms purely through the lens of their prefixes erases those experiences and oversimplifies the complexities of these identities. By not assuming that he knows what aromantic means, Charlie actually gives Isaac the opportunity to explain it in his own words. And that's so important for understanding the nuances of these identities. This brings me to the bigger point: the importance of education and advocacy. Charlie's reaction in this scene, being unfamiliar with the term aromantic, reflects a reality that a lot of people face when trying to explain their identities. Even when someone knows about asexuality, they might not know about aromanticism, because the aromantic spectrum gets even less visibility. Charlie not immediately getting it also opens the door for learning and dialogue, which is so important. By having moments of confusion like this, the writers highlight how much more work there is to be done in terms of raising awareness. So, in summary, Charlie's confusion isn't a bad thing. It's a reflection of how society still has to learn about the aromantic and asexual spectrums. It's also a reminder of why education and advocacy are so important. By normalizing conversations like this, we can help people understand the complexities of these identities beyond just the prefix. This video is in no way an attempt to shame anyone who was having that conversation. In fact, I want to highlight that conversation because I do think that it's really important that we're having it. I think that it allows us to further this conversation. So I actually thank everybody that was involved in that conversation for bringing it to light and for sharing their feelings, because it's so important that we do that. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. What did you think about that scene? And what are some ways that we can work to spread more awareness about aromantic and asexual identities? Let me know in the comments, and as always, I'll see you next time.